Please do visit them at the expo area. We'll start the day with a snapshot of English evaluation in the region. Enjoy.
Today, more than ever, the importance of mastering a second language, especially English, which is the most common language among non-Anglophone native speakers, has been growing, due for the most part to constant opportunities of global mobility for education, employment, and business. As a consequence, our country has developed national plans and strategies, created programs, and made important investments for improved English teaching and learning, and in addition has set national goals for students' English proficiency in the long term. In 2006, the Colombian Ministry of Education adopted the basic standards of competences in English language, close to what can refer as a national curriculum, with the Common European Framework of Reference. This adaptation was done for the basic, secondary, and higher education. Since 2007, ICFES has been designing and applying a standardized national mandated English test for students enrolled in high school senior year and for students graduating from college, universities, and vocational programs. The test focuses mainly on assessing students' reading comprehension skills at the basic and the independent user levels of the Common European Framework of Reference. The results of our national assessments has shown that there are still great efforts that must be made to meet our national policy expected targets. Our context highlights different challenges for our institute concerning the future of standardized and national mandated English tests. The first challenge is overcoming the barriers that prevent large-scale assessment of comprehensive English proficiency, the geographic dispersion of our populations, and the heterogeneity of the infrastructure conditions creates difficulties on measuring English skills such as speaking, listening, and writing. However, in 2020, ICFES began to take important steps in seeking solutions to overcome these challenges. The pandemic was an opportunity to innovate and speed up our digital transformation. Administering higher education exams in a fully electronic format, ICFES opened a window to design in the medium term an electronic comprehensive English national test. A second challenge we have is to support teachers' assessment of students' English skills throughout the learning process. In 2020, we implemented a set of evaluation tools that support formative assessment strategies. This program is called Evaluar para Avanzar de 3 a 11, where teachers have free access to English tests and their students' results so that they improve classroom practices as well as inform students about the learning process. The third challenge is to expand research activities. The country needs quality information regarding to the effectiveness of English teaching in schools. That is, we need to generate high-quality information and data for decision-making regarding impact and improvements in the national bilingualism program.
The higher education system in Cuba tackles the challenges associated with providing high-quality English language learning through a national language education policy in order to achieve higher levels of English language proficiency among university learners. As part of the policy design, we have set up legal foundations and standards in terms of the objectives for learning, which identify what students should know and be able to do with the language, the levels and specifications of our own national standards from international benchmarks, and the specifications of objectives, contents, methods, and procedures for each of the levels for both teaching and assessment. We have also set up policy statements where, among others, our university students should meet the English language education requirements at B1 level of proficiency to be able to successfully graduate from undergraduate programs. One of the components of the English language education policy in Cuba is assessment, which is conducted through standardized exams within natural courses to accredit and certify the learners' proficiency levels. Currently, challenges in terms of assessment are to design suitable specifications, instruments, administration, and scoring procedures rigorously and apply them to demonstrate the learners' levels of proficiency. To assess all four language skills and train the learners on the dynamics of the examinations, and to activate the learners' responsibility and encourage them to work hard on the targets. In terms of assessment, we have also set up a national research project with the objectives of developing a Cuban national certification system in academic English, enhancing assessment literacy among Cuban language teachers, and pursuing a research program about language assessment in Cuban higher education institutions. A research group has therefore been made up, and they have all been trained as part of a national assessment program.
The National English Program aims to create an approach towards English as a foreign language in third grade of preschool and primary school, and it tries to provide students in secondary schools with the tools they would need to communicate using English as a foreign language. Students' English formation continues in higher education levels. We are fully aware of the importance of teaching English as a foreign language, and we are currently working to improve students' access to this formation. The focus of our subject promotes continual classroom assessment as a way for teachers to recognize students' progress in our classes. Teachers are constantly trying to evaluate students' understanding of the language by using different methods. This does not mean that teachers are testing their students with an exam every class. They develop other methods, such as participation, expositions, tasks, and other means that don't necessarily feel as a test for students. This way, teachers get to evaluate students without the pressure that an actual test would put on students. Innovation is an important part of teaching. We have to be constantly searching for new ways for us not only to assess, but to teach in general. Some of the assessment methods teachers used to apply a few years ago have proven not to be effective anymore. So we have to keep asking ourselves if our methods are actually effective, and we must be open for change to happen. One of our main goals is to continually improve our classes. This is why it's important for us to constantly revise our curriculum to keep it updated and strengthen our opportunity areas.
Ceneval has worked with multiple organizations to develop and offer many kinds of language assessments by achieving the certification. More than 24,600 people in Mexico have presented our English proficiency exams. Due to the strategic partnership with the British Council and Ministry of Public Education, Ceneval offered the aptitude test as a complementary assessment to identify the teacher's level of proficiency in the second language in order to respond to educational needs and demands. APTIS is a flexible test which assesses comprehension English skills that shows the opportunity areas that can be worked on to improve teaching performance of the users. But most importantly, APTIS is perfect for those looking for a national language level certification. Accreditation exam. 20 years ago, the Ministry of Public Education published the Acuerdo 286. This agreement established the norms and criteria to accredit the knowledge and abilities according to the different educational levels acquired outside the formal education system as autonomous learning through work experience or by other means. Accreditation process for English teachers. Based on the Acuerdo 286, in 2010, Senegal launched EGALEIN to help users to get their diploma and the chance to teach English as a second language. The accreditation process for English teachers allows us to identify that the applicants have the minimum knowledge and skills of an English teacher. The test is divided into two phases: knowledge test and oral exam. In Senegal, more than 5,179 English teachers have obtained their degree through this unique process. New projects. We are in constant innovation, and this year Senegal is launching the next generation of exams. These instruments will provide useful information about the user's abilities and skills, those vital for academic, professional, and social development in the 21st century. They include an English language proficiency section for diagnostic purposes and a cross-sectional evaluation through different learning stages. The proficiency level is evaluated through reading comprehension and indirect writing. For our clients, Senegal will provide detailed reports, data, and analysis in order to let them set appropriate lines of action to support their applicants. Now, more than ever, language evaluation is key for Mexican population and the country's future.
So, and nowadays our most important exam with English items is the High School National Exam, also known as ENEM. ENEM is a non-mandatory standardized Brazilian national exam, and it's a high-stake exam in Brazil. Since 2009, it is the official university's entrance exam, because an overwhelming number of students now either need the ENEM for applying or use it as a supplement for their applications. So what we have in terms of English languages in ENEM is actually not a lot. The English language test is composed of 5 multiple choice items, and it's based on a reference framework. And this reference framework is part of the language codes and their technologies test. The items assess reading competences of the test takers, such as interpretation, analysis, comparison, argumentation, and generalization of different contents in English. The framework that guides ENEM was created in accordance with the Curriculum Guidelines for High School, OSEM. OSEM postulates that reading skills in a second language should also include developing the ability to construct meaning from information that is not in the text. So we can say that inferential comprehension of text is an important aspect of second language instruction in Brazilian high schools. And the comprehension of the role of English language in ENEM involves looking at the legislation and the official documents as they give the dimension of this role from the perspective of the state, and also are the basis of the construction of the current reference framework. So talking a little about the new perspectives on English language assessment for the next years in Brazil, this reference framework we have, as it is today, will no longer exist and will be replaced by another. So the new one is the new curricular standard Common Core, and it's also known as Base Comum Curricular. And the purpose of PNCC for English is to change the status of English language from a foreign language to a lingua franca. This is an important change of concept for English teaching. In the sense that PNCC legitimizes, we can say that PNCC legitimizes English, not only as a language spoken in countries like the United States or England, but as an opportunity to access the globalized world. So with this knowledge, all young people and children can exercise citizenship and expand their possibilities for interaction in the most diverse contexts. We can say that mainly when we talk about classroom teaching, but this factor favors teaching of the English language with more interculturality, we can say. So we believe that PNCC may change the way educational agents access English in Brazil. At the moment, there is no discussion in the government about a specific English test, let's say a proficiency test that reliably measures all skill levels, beginners to proficient, in alignment with the internationally recognized standard, the Common European Framework of Reference. In spite of that, we as researchers of educational government agencies, the National Education Council, CNE, approved the National Guidelines for Plurilingual Education in Brazil, and it was approved on the 9th of July 2020, and the resolution provides important definitions and regulations to guide the school community and clarify the understanding of the concept of a bilingual school. The analysis was the result of discussions among professionals who study, work, and research on bilingual education and awaits approval by the Ministry of Education. So we just have to wait.
Here in Chile, we did a big national assessment during 2017 that we call SIMSE. SIMSE told us something very important. 54% of our students were not reaching the A1 English level that was expected to be reached really on 6th grade in primary. So we move everything, all our energies and workshops and the initiatives that we were doing until that point and move and put in order to feed teachers that are teaching on 6th and 5th grade. What are those initiatives? Well, we have Teachers Academy, which is basically a workshop that takes about 2 months with a lot of topics very important, like planification, assessment, differentiation, and student center, among others. And then, if they want, they can keep doing deeper with our mentoring that we are offering to anyone that can be able to follow a process that is considered really important because you can put in practice what you learn. After that, or instead of that, mentoring, you can also have other online courses with important topics, legal teaching problems, or other topics.
The responsibility of ensuring the quality of education in all its dimensions, including the English language, is a task that requires today more than ever the commitment and effort of all the actors involved in the training process. The COVID-19 pandemic has revealed the intrinsic weakness of our education and quality assurance system. At the same time, we have discovered a whole series of opportunities that we will harvest if we will continue to cooperate between us on the path of growth and joint development. For example, the online education has opened up to a series of new advantages, like classes could be given by international teachers, the trust of international research, and joint projects to tackle global problems is increased in the last couple of years, among others. And to achieve that, English language play a leading role.
In 2014, Peru approved a new university law, which started a process of reform led by the Ministry of Education as rector to guarantee that the education that our students receive have quality standards. Continuing with the reform process and in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ministry of Education launched a fund for public universities to improve the English level of research professors at public universities. Through this context, we seek to increase the proficiency of the English language of our research professors, as it is a basic principle for our internationalization policy and application of the university law. It also ensures that they have a level of English in order to promote better research in all areas.